Did you know that Abraham Lincoln once sentiment reported, "I am naturally inclined to melancholy, but still managed to become one of America's most beloved presidents"? Here's something even more shocking. Lincoln's actual birthday on February 12th is barely celebrated anymore, even though he literally saved the United States from breaking apart forever. Hey everyone! Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, and today we are talking about Lincoln's birthday, a holiday that honestly deserves way more attention than it gets. We're going to explore why February 12th matters, dive deep into Lincoln's incredible journey from poverty to the presidency, and discover how his decisions still affect our lives today. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll have a whole new appreciation for honest aid. So grab your favorite drink, get comfortable, and let's jump into the fascinating world of America's 16th president. Let's start with Lincoln's origin story, because it's honestly mind-blowing. Picture this: February 12, 1809. In a tiny one-room log cabin in Hodgenville, Kentucky, Abraham Lincoln was born into a family that had almost nothing. His father, Thomas Lincoln, was a farmer who could barely read or write. His mother, Nancy, died when Abraham was just 9 years old from a mysterious illness called milk sickness. The family was so poor that young Abraham had to work instead of going to school. In fact, Lincoln had less than 1 year of formal education his entire life. Can you imagine that? Less than 1 year in school, and he became president. But here's where Lincoln's character really shows. Despite having no money for books, he borrowed every single book he could find. He read by candlelight and firelight late into the night. His stepmother later said that Lincoln would read anything he could get his hands on: the Bible, Aesop's fables, Pilgrim's Progress. When he was a teenager, Lincoln taught himself law by reading legal books. He would walk miles just to borrow a single book. This hunger for knowledge completely shaped who he became. By his 20s, Lincoln was practicing law and getting into politics. He served in the Illinois state legislature and later in Congress. But it was the issue of slavery that really launched Lincoln into national attention. In 1858, Lincoln debated Stephen Douglas for a U.S. Senate seat. Even though Lincoln lost that election, these debates made him famous across the country. People started paying attention to this tall, awkward lawyer from Illinois who spoke so powerfully about human equality. Then came 1860, and Lincoln won the presidential election. But here's the crazy part: he won without a single electoral vote from the South. Southern states were so upset about Lincoln's election that they started leaving the Union before he even took office. By the time Lincoln became president in March 1861, 7 states had already left. Lincoln faced an impossible situation. Should he let the country split apart, or fight to keep it together? Lincoln chose to fight, and that decision led to the bloodiest war in American history. The Civil War lasted for years and cost over 600,000 lives. But during this terrible time, Lincoln made decisions that changed America forever. In 1863, Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation. This wasn't just a piece of paper, it was a promise that the United States would never be the same. The proclamation declared that enslaved people in rebel states were free. It transformed the Civil War from a fight about keeping the Union together into a fight about human freedom. Lincoln knew this decision was risky. Many people in the North didn't want to fight a war about slavery. But Lincoln believed that America could survive as a country built on the idea that some people could own other people. Then came November 19, 1863, in one of the most famous speeches in American history. Lincoln traveled to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, to dedicate a cemetery for soldiers who died in battle. The main speaker that day talked for 2 hours. Lincoln spoke for just 2 minutes. But those 2 minutes, the Gettysburg Address redefined what America was supposed to be. Lincoln said the war was about making sure that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. He turned a cemetery dedication into a call for a new birth of freedom. Now let's talk about how we actually celebrate Lincoln's birthday today. February 12th is officially recognized in Illinois, New York, California, and Connecticut. In Illinois, it's a big deal because that's Lincoln's home state. Schools often close, and there are special events at Lincoln sites. But most other states fold Lincoln's birthday into President's Day in February. This actually was passed in 1968 and took effect in 1971 when Congress created the Monday Holiday Act. The idea was to give people more 3-day weekends. But honestly, something got lost when we stopped specifically celebrating Lincoln on February 12th. President's Day tends to focus on Washington and Lincoln together, or sometimes all presidents. That means Lincoln's specific story and achievements get watered down. Here's why Lincoln's individual birthday still matters today. First, his story proves that your background doesn't determine your future. Lincoln came from nothing and changed the world. Second, Lincoln showed that leaders sometimes have to make unpopular decisions for the right reasons. The Emancipation Proclamation wasn't popular with everyone, but it was morally necessary. Third, Lincoln demonstrated that words have power. His speeches at Gettysburg and his second inaugural address helped heal a broken nation. Lincoln's legacy isn't just about the past, it is about the principles America is still trying to live up to today. When we talk about equality, we're talking about ideals Lincoln fought for. When we debate the role of government, we're continuing conversations Lincoln started. When we struggle with difficult moral decisions, we can look to Lincoln's example of choosing what's right over what's easy. So this February 12th, whether your state officially celebrates Lincoln's birthday or not, take a moment to remember this incredible man. From that tiny log cabin in Kentucky to the White House during America's greatest crisis, Lincoln's journey reminds us that ordinary people can do extraordinary things. His commitment to learning, his moral courage, and his vision of what America could become still inspire us today. Lincoln once said, "The best way to predict your future is to create it." That's exactly what he did, and that's exactly what we can do too. If this video helped you learn something new about Lincoln, hit that like button and let me know in the comments. What do you think is Abraham Lincoln's most important legacy? Is it ending slavery, preserving the Union, or maybe his example of rising from poverty through education and hard work? Subscribe for more history content, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, and remember Lincoln's story proves that with determination and the right values, anyone can change the world.